Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Let's see here.
Oh, that's better. Test, test, test. You hear me still? No, maybe not. Hey, Mel, can you hear me?
Do I sound okay?
Yeah. No, you sound great. Look great.
Good.
Yeah.
Hey, Rosa.
Hey,
You look all right. Looks good. All right, hold on one second. You mean here? I got this. Sunshine 4. Oh no, I'm good. I'm good. Sorry.
James, I think your mic is off.
Thank you. Mel has a ton of robins in her yard today, so I think spring
I'm telling
is
you, it is incredible. I mean,
yeah.
I can't believe how many are here. And then it's the what is it? What are those the red tip blackbirds, like with the red and the yellow on the sides? They're never here until after the robins. I don't know what they're all doing, but I've been cleaning all the bird baths and keep cleaning them. And they're like taking baths and they're all over the yard. I've never seen this before. It's beautiful. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, and I've been hearing the birds too lately. Maybe the dawning of Aquarius. Like all the animals are like, "Fuck yeah, man!" And so yeah, maybe it's that causing that. So
I know. Well, you know, last year there was rainbows in January.
Wow.
I remember. And now this year we have robins. I keep track of that shit. I don't know.
Great, Lorna's here too. Hey, Lorna, good to see you.
Hi, Lorna. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Jennifer.
Nancy's here. I'm driving, so
hi there, everyone.
I can listen.
Hi, everyone.
Great to have you,
Nancy.
Nancy.
Hi, Nancy.
Glad you're listening.
Yeah, today was Dad.
Hey, Elizabeth. Yeah.
Hi, I see you in the
Jennifer's
car.
here. Right on. This is great. And here comes Gaia Hypothesis is in the room, and Amaretz is, and Sarah. Not okay. Looks like Sarah's typing. Great. It is now 12:30, and I will officially start this meeting. I'd like to welcome everyone to Dojo Homeschool 2. We have some great feedback from people that submitted ideas, and I thought that we would go over that. And to do that properly, I'm going to share screen and Dojo Homeschool share. You guys should see a spreadsheet on Google Spreadsheets. I'm happy to share this. I mean, in fact, I'm going to share this with everyone. So you could edit this too, or update this too if you want. Don't even feel like you need to. This is all the feedback that Melanie compiled. This is from basically people that were emailing us and giving us ideas. Rather than read them all, I mean, we can read them all, and I'm happy to. But I also went ahead and just pulled out topics that I thought were good, and I think it might be better if I just say the topics. But this information is there. I'm more than happy to share it with you guys. But my gut's telling me I'm gonna read you the topics because it kind of compiles them all into a nice little punch list of ideas that we can kind of all hear in one sitting. And so with those, Danny, I am adding you to the list, whether or not we even got you in there, because I'm volunteering you. You're here anyway. But anyway, I just added one because Danny reminded me. So as far as Dojo Homeschool topics go, the people that we have here that are interested in helping, just some of the things that could be contributed. Actually reading children's books, which I freaking love this. If there was like a channel that was just different people reading books, and you could point the camera at the fire, it could not be a camera, you could read, or you could show the book, anything. But even just the audio of that would be such an awesome, what an offering to have. So that's what I mean by reading. Cooking shows, cooking talks about. Lorna is already doing that right now. If we could like tap into a little bit of that, would just be awesome. Photography, learning photography, any kind of photography stuff. Creative writing is an awesome idea. I changed Josh's idea. He said he wanted to read a poem, which I still wanted to do, but also Josh has this awesome idea for a children's book, and I'm throwing this out, but I think Josh should showcase the process of writing and publishing that children's book, because it's such a perfect homeschool activity for the not only the writing of the book, but even the production of it. And it's not even like you would even have to produce it, but just there's so much meat there. It's so good. Needlework. Emily is professional. Not only does she do the needlework, but she also does a lot of showcase. She's already in that same paladin role that Lorna's doing, where they're already putting this stuff out. So it's already have a high caliber product. Anything at all involving needlepoint, clothing, soft furnishing, embroidery, all that stuff. Creative workshops, drawing on the right side of the brain, right? Learning how to tap into your creative power. There's like a beautiful, just a giant well right there of James, how do you fix writer's block? How do you get into the flow state, right? What is flow state? All that stuff. Just really great stuff there. Esoterics, all of us are into that. I'm just going to put that word in there because I could go anywhere. So fairy tales and archetypes, a show about showing the fairy tales that we have now and what they used to be, the history of them, and why and what archetypes do. It's just mind-blowing. A news decoding show. Today's news decoded, right? What happened into news, and then what is the decode of that? Just a fascinating, what a freaking great idea. A show about the moon. It's not only is it educating you what the moon is, but each moon's going to be a different moon. Curators, imagine curators saying these songs really reflect what the moon is. Tarot, astrology, any kind of intuitive works based off the moon. It's just freaking incredible. So much there that could be done there. Music makers, if we consider how so much of us are oscillation and vibration, and Babylon teaches us you go buy an instrument and now you can make noise, but noise is such a tribal thing. And the idea of a show where every show there's a different thing that's making noise, and how to perfect that's really powerful, especially if you think about intimidation, like in the wild, and how animals use noise. And there you go, Mel. Yeah, exactly. So there's like a whole threads. Each of these are giant threads that really stretch out. Amu Rock in history, the idea of uncovering the history of America. Dojo Film School, a working classroom where you were learning and producing and creating a video content of any length or purpose with any kind of subject, where you were working in a group, a mosh pit of other people that also were learning film school. And now you have this conglomerate, a Macaroni Pictures, where you have these people that are kind of in a pool, and you would go to that pool and pitch them an idea and say, picture this, I see this opening, and now you have people that are like, yeah, I'd love to freaking do that. This sounds like a great way to learn, or whatever. So that's a huge thing, which we'll get to in a second. This meeting right now, what we are talking about is a dojo homeschool, because parents and families would utilize and see these ideas and just go with it. So even what we are doing right now, I don't even mean even, what we are doing right now, I think is vital content. I think this is a dojo model, what you're looking at. All of us are on the screen, all of us are sharing ideas. We have a, okay, I forgot to assign a moderator. Forgot about this. And I should have asked Lorna earlier.
Yeah, I
Lorna,
can do
You
that.
might, okay, I'm so sorry. Let me switch
No,
over.
I
got
had a
so-
She's so
feeling you would.
flexible.
I know, I'm so flexible.
Yeah.
It's the second
Yeah.
time I've done that.
No, it's
So-
okay. I thought you would too anyway.
This is the dojo format, and I've already violated it. Basically, there's a moderator who runs the conversation. I've just happened to be the first person that raised my hand because I called it. So you're watching my time right now on the mat, in which I'm presenting something to all of you. And by doing that, I am soliciting and consenting to feedback and questions and things like that. That's what called being on the mat is. If any of you were to make a comment about the idea I had, you would also be stepping on the mat too. You would be stepping on the mat about the subject that I'm speaking about. It doesn't mean that now you were on the mat about everything else, but just about that subject. I'm saying this loosely now because I want you to understand that this model of dojo, I think that if you're new to this, you're going to find that this is a very thriving tribal model that really facilitates and secretes a lot of human authenticity when this is done right. And when I say when it's done right, it's completely antithetical to what you might see in school or in the corporate world. In school, if a child is acting inappropriately, then there is one person that corrects that person, and everyone else leaves that to the teacher. In our case, you might think the moderator is the teacher, but that's actually not really how it works. Because even the moderator can be put on the mat. Even the moderator can learn. The moderator is here to learn exactly along with everyone else. This is not there's a central pole that distributes information. So this whole model of homeschool will never really have, I shouldn't say never, but it's going to be hard to even facilitate that central teacher with a bunch of learners. I think that what we can showcase is how entertaining and Aquarian this group discovery is. It's a group discovery is what's happening. And if anything, someone's provided potlatch, they've provided a gift, they brought donuts to the office, and that potlatch is pre-discovery. It's the idea of, hey, I've been thinking about this idea, I fleshed it out a little bit, here it is. And at no point is anyone the teacher, is anyone the student. This is a unanimous government type of a situation. It's a different kind of model. I'm telling you all this because I think that Dojo Homeschool, if it could take off the same way that our regular dojo program has, is that would be one of the main showcases that we could offer homeschoolers everywhere, is this meeting. And when I say this meeting is kind of dry in the sense of we're not really talking specifically about a topic. We're more talking about how we would distribute topics. But if you could just imagine that this framework could be used in all these different showcases to produce an educational video conference learning session that's the opposite of, say, polishing something off scene behind the camera and then presenting it as finished and done. That's the model that leads so much of us to regurgitate, because we're presented with the peanut that has the outer candy shell that's then painted, that then has the actual logo embossed on it. That's truly not really what we're doing and what it's about, that the product itself is the preparation. It is the discovery of that preparation. And just as the adult is unlearning, so too is the child learning. And if we open this up if we point the witness on this process, then there's no such thing as a lesson plan. What there is a discovery session. There's a discovery session where each session has an offering of commitment. And that offering of commitment is either met or not met the next time by those who stepped on the mat and said, I am offering this commitment. And the way they present that commitment, the way that commitment flows is because of their potlatch is also up for being on the mat, which means each of us would contribute to that, could critique that, could just simply say bravo, could simply just listen and consider it something valid or however it's going to work out. But this process itself is really a human process. And it makes all the things that we're talking about secondary. These topics become secondary. And what happens first is the interaction, it's the human interaction that's happening within the group that really ends up teaching us more. The subjects themselves are almost like furniture. And that furniture is crucial and important. Different people are going to want to sit in different places. Different people are going to want to hang in different environments, and that's important. Film school, reading, needlepoint, the moon ends, the American history, all these things are different settings that would attract people that have similar interests, that would have this general subject matter to talk on. But truly the environment that we're built is a much more Socratic, sort of a meeting of wise men. All of us would be these wise men to discuss these ideas. It's not to regurgitate them. It's not to download them. It's to truly open them up and put the time in to have those discussions about them. So this is kind of being very general. I'm about to stop talking here, but this very general thing I'm describing, all these ideas, in my opinion, kind of equate to what could be a network, a television network. I'm using the word television very broadly here, but a television network, an Akashic record. In fact, if there's a music company called Akashic Records, that's brilliant because of what a freaking name for a record company. But like this Akashic channel would be this place that would have these different tents, like teepees, that you would go into. And one of those teepees would be Dojo Film School. One of those teepees would be the Yamu Rock in History. One of those teepees would be Fairy Tales and Archetypes, right? One of those would be the Cooking with Kids or Meals for Eight. It's the point is that these would be self-assembling networks. These would be neurons that would be self-assembled truly by the people that gathered in what was offered. What I'm proposing is that I think part of this offering, part of the potlatch is some of us could create this network to just help distribute these shows, to help distribute these content, to put it in a nice package that people can understand and grow from and build from. And with that said, what I'm really calling for at this point is not going to be everyone's bag. In fact, it's only going to be a few of you that are even going to want to answer a call like this, because what I think this truly starts with is producers. It's people that are willing to say, I want to see this produced. And that's why I called this the calling of the moon, because this is only going to come from you. It's only going to come from the elders right now who are willing to step up before anyone's there and believe that idea that if you build it, they will come. It's that notion. And truly, if you don't believe that that's going to happen, it's not going to happen. And that the vitriol that you go through setting this up is supposed to be hard. It's supposed to require calories. And that you would have this school, this Dojo Homeschool, the one we're in right now, would be a place where even that vitriol would come out, where you would express your frustrations, where you would express your victories too, where all of that becomes a learning experiment. And I think once you truly ingest this new model, that it's a human effort, that even if the effort fails, and I'm using this in quotes, even if the effort fails, the process itself was a huge success. because it was embraced with this authentic vitriol along the way. This is something we do in Dojo. What I mean by that is that people now come to Dojo, and the gift they bring sometimes is their failure. They're showcasing something about them that's a failure. And those are the kinds of sessions that just blow all of us away. It moves things inside of us, and it becomes a very transmutative event, which is why I think this is such a brilliant model for this Dojo Homeschool, or whatever this thing is that we may even call it. So to finish up, I guess what I'm calling for is, it seems to me that the way that this would start is with having some producers that are willing to say, I really like this. And I think that product would remain the producers. This show, this showcase, this Zoom meeting, this dojo, this offering that you bring, that would have to be your property. It would have to be something that you own. And I use the term own loosely. You could own it with your other producers, but the point is that this is never going to take off if you're waiting for someone outside of you right now to step in and say, this is what we're going to do. But what I can do is, if you are producing something, if there's something that you are delivering and you are pounding that drum, that I will produce something. And I know Brent will help me produce something. And I know Melanie will help me produce something. I know these aren't the only people, but we will help produce something to act as a sounding board for that, to act as some way of blending these together. And it's this Akashic network, whatever that's going to be called, that facilitates that. And that could look like an app that you download, a website, a dojo group, a subscription to certain tools that we may need. But when it comes to producing shows, I'm like a Dropbox account, or I'm just spitballing here, but we would be able to utilize our ability as a tribe to showcase what each of us brings, bring them to the table, and get stuff done. As you're producing episodes, those episodes could then be brought to us and say, yeah, James, I'd like to, like, just as an example, I produced 6 episodes, James. I would like one of these to be in the Akashic record. It's this one. Even that is huge potlatch right now. Even that would be just colossally big to have. If this network takes off, I could see a YouTube channel, among other things, but that channel could be automated through this network that we build. Seamus also would be helping us with this. And that network would be automatically live streaming the broadcasts that we would program. I hope I'm not going over women's head, but just imagine like a television program on the YouTube channel. Instead of me having to go live, you know that at 9 a.m. at 6 p.m. every night, it's story time, right? And that story time is simply playing all of our libraries of people reading stories. That's kind of what I mean by a network. It's just producing a little bit of the software on the end to kind of make something that has everything tied together in a way. So my offering to this, my bringing to this is this network, building this network, and producing this dojo film school. Those are the two things that I'm showcasing what I mean by I'm having sovereignty over my own idea. I'm having sovereignty over this notion, and I'm pushing hard to make that happen. As Dojo Film School gets off the ground and I feel comfortable with it, I will be promoting Amu Raken history to the Dojo Film School, hoping that the people that are in Dojo Film School would say, I want to work on that show. Holy cow. And I'm hoping that fairy tales and archetypes would be something that Rosa might present. This was her idea, by the way, to the Dojo Film School. And people would be like, I want to work on that show. And so that becomes its own inner tiny dojo. Anyway, it's all fractal, and I'm remaining loyal to that fractal as best I can, because it seems like so much abundance comes from there. Thank you for listening to this very long talk and presentation. Thank you for being here. I welcome any feedback right now. I'll just let Lorna actually run the meeting and stop talking. But thank you for your witness. I really, really appreciate it. Lorna?
Hello, everyone. Well, that was really awesome. Thank you so much, James. Does anyone have any questions or feedback? Raise your hand if you do. And I see that Michael has put something in the chat saying that he would definitely be interested in being a producer. So that's something that's kind of exciting. Yeah, I think Emily and me have a lot in common. I haven't really checked out Emily's stuff, but I'm a very domesticated woman. So I know how to cook and crochet, knit, anything that's kind of like handwork and kitchen stuff and cook. So I'm looking forward to bringing that to the table. Adam, unmute yourself, my dear. Take the mic.
Thank you very much, my love. Yeah, awesome, James. That was awesome. That fired me up big time. And like I said to you in the film school, the method of working is really a model of working is just it's the Aquarian way, and it's always been my way. So what I can offer is, for example, you have little teepees and stuff. I can offer a vehicle, like I say, we can, for example, if we can study history or whatever, I can offer I can work a drama exercise or a drama class to actually, reenact any sort of historical event, or to learn through living and emotion, evaluating our emotions, and kind of dramatizing the content that we're working on. And I can offer that to other people's projects. So if people want to work on this project on this subject, I can offer that sort of outlet or kind of drama class based on that subject as well. Also, I would quite like to work on a creative writing dojo, or maybe conscious music making. I write spoken word poetry, and I've always thought that it would be great to kind of put some music out there. I don't know anything to do with music, but there's obviously the Aquarian collaboration that we can work on. But I can offer scripts. I've got half-written scripts. I'd love to do scratch nights, and where we can work on each other's scripts and ideas, and put conscious material and content out there. I think that's pretty much it. But yeah, awesome. Thanks for firing me up.
And Adam, just to jump in real quick, I could see that acting class as being a pool that so many different producers could tap into and be like, hey, Adam, could you do a little shot about this or about that? And what a freaking exercise for everyone in the class to have these different, interesting things that they'd never think of being presented to them too. So thank you. This is awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much, Adam. Pi, can you unmute yourself?
Hi. Well, I'd been kind of thinking about what I might add, and then I just kind of played my violin a little bit before this meeting, and I came up with the idea that I'd quite like to have a class called Tuning Your Instrument, which would be anything from yourself to any stringed tunable instrument.
Yeah.
And then also what Adam and James already touched on. The other part that I felt really strongly about was the idea of like adults and kids learning together. And for instance, like Adam has an interest in music, and then you could help. See, part of my vitriol is I know quite a bit about frequency and vibration, but I've never been able to get anybody to listen, not even in recording. I had to do it on my own. And so the vitriol for me would be to utilize all the resources to try to, portray the things that I have to portray, but which could be history. I use history, intuitive imagery to reproduce sounds of older instruments, and there's just a whole. It pretty much relates to every field, but what happens is that if you learn your own body, you can tune every instrument yourself, and you never need a tuner again, and you tune it to your own body's resonance, especially with tunable instruments. And so you learn how to tune yourself, you learn how to tune any instrument that you're interested in, and you learn how to intuitively access anything from history, like, Adam, like maybe you'd be interested in trying to portray historical imagery in some way through your skills there, because I don't really have that skill. Something's missing from whatever it is that I've tried to do in the past. And so this is a real opportunity. And my, I would also like to learn something in the film school, because I feel that's a vital part of, how I would even do it. And I'm going to invest in a camera, because I need to be mobile for some of the things that I'd want to do. I'd want to capture some environments and things like that. There's things in nature too. I've experimented with playing instruments on streams in nature, and there's a lot of unexplored things that I think would be interesting, magical things even, that people could experience themselves just by trying it. I wouldn't even have to say what it is or convince any. It would be self-evident. But that's what I'm excited about. So I thought I'd share that.
That really excites me. I was actually just listening to Tom Cowan, and he was talking to a guy, I forget his name, it's on my podcast, but he was talking to a guy who makes wind harps. So they're played by the wind, and it's just amazing. And he talks about so much cool stuff. And I was just listening to that this morning. So
I think that's pretty cool. That's actually the first time I experienced well, it's kind of a wind harp, a wind chime, a bamboo wind chime that had little reeds in it that could whistle in the wind.
Yeah.
And it had this smooth consonant sound that I heard in the air. I was like, is that the Pythagorean tuning? And then I went and checked it, and it was. And I go, oh, so that's what they mean. And see, once you learn to identify something, that's the key. Like, that's how, even though I'm not technically proficient, like in filmmaking or, but I've always had a skill in frequency identification, like in the studio, like you can just, and anybody can learn this. I'm not like a person that's born with perfect pitch. Like there's just all misunderstandings of pitch calibrations and perfect pitch in the human beings, and things that I'd like to try to elucidate on as well. But yeah, that's funny that you say that about harps, and there's lots of like, if there's one thing I have experience with in musical instruments that was ever my specialty, is when people would bring me instruments and, for the sole purpose that for doing something that had never been done, that they knew I hadn't done, but they wanted me to do something, and I'd like people to have the confidence to like do something that's never been done.
Love that.
With a musical instrument and other ways to think about it, if that makes any sense. Anyway, I'll stop now, but.
Well, man, that just lights me up. I'm so excited about that, because sound therapy, and I'm into of course tuning forks, and yeah, and I think it's important to teach our children that. And just even that moment that when you just said that, when we were talking about the wind and those pipes of those chimes, getting our children to tune in, or even us to tune in to the subtleties of nature that is presented to us at all times, really gets us to put us in the moment. And those are gifts that we're not taught in school, right? So I think that's beautiful, Pi. Beautiful.
Just the magic of going out in nature and like playing a violin, like on some stream.
Yeah.
You'd be amazed at how wildlife responds to that.
I'm gonna cry.
Really, I think.
Yeah.
It would be.
Yeah, that really makes me emotional. Just emotional, just hearing that. So that's exciting. Where are you, Melanie? Your hand was up and now it's down.
I did that by mistake. I'm sorry.
Are you there?
I'm here. Yes.
Okay, go, sweetheart.
Okay. No, it's okay.
No,
Okay.
it's okay. Your hand was up.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yep. All the ideas are just incredible. And then some of the ones in the chat, I wrote all those down. Actually, I'll just save it too, and then make sure James has it on there. And then when we were talking earlier, like Lynette, for instance, not that I'm calling you out, I'm so happy that you're here. When James was saying earlier about the moons and different things like that, all of the categories are amazing. And I was like even saying to James first, I was like, oh, I don't know, like what about like gemstones and minerals? And then I'm thinking, well, no, I teach little ones dance. What about that? So it's just so amazing that we're doing this. I don't really have any comment. I just wanted just to share that. I love all these topics and what we're doing. And Pi, with that vibration thing, I will listen to you all day and all night. So that's my thing. I love that kind of stuff. So
Me too.
I know I'm crazy.
We're all getting jacked up here. I'm
Aren't we?
just
I
so
know.
excited. I know. I was like, wow, so excited.
But thank you.
Rosa,
Thank you.
my dear. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Melanie. Rosa, my dear. Unmute yourself.
Oh, it's
There you
me
go,
actually.
there
It's me first. So I haven't really given it an awful lot of thought, but I'm kind of thinking about it now. And I've worked with mainly adults, and a lot of my classes, because I've taught in colleges and like the V&A and Royal School of Needlework and places like that, it tends to be quite formal. So I'm going to have to unteach myself on how to teach a little bit. But then I've also done my own independent classes where I've taken a group of adults who were told that they could never draw and they weren't creative. But they were really creatively frustrated. And I know that I relate to that a little bit, because when I was at school, I was told that I wasn't particularly artistic when I was young because I couldn't draw. And so I really worked on my drawing skills. And I realized that, you know, from quite an early age, that to be artistic isn't just about drawing, which is a really obvious statement for us now, but it wasn't when I was younger. So what I've done with my own business and what I've tried to teach adults is to take all the different elements of them and to put them into one form of self-expression. So I work a lot with words, we do collage, and then I do this thing called Take a Stitch for a Walk, where we're just looking at shape and emotion through shape and line and color and form and shade and different fabrics, different textures and all that kind of a thing. So rather than being a technical class, which so many kind of needlework, embroidery, dressmaking, all of that kind of thing is, it's more of a self-expression class, and it's more about finding your authentic voice, but through a mixture of, say, drawing, collage and textiles. So that's kind of the line that I was thinking, but I haven't really given it masses of thought because my work schedule has been really grueling, but I can see a light at the end of the tunnel. So yeah, that's where I am.
Oh, I love that, Emily. I love that creative expression, and just to get out of the box, out of those lines, right? To teach people to step outside those boxes. And that's what we need. We need to step out of those boxes and those lines. So that's beautiful. I love that. I love that idea.
You know, when people are creatively frustrated, it has such a detrimental effect on your personal life. You know, people can be so that they haven't got a voice to be heard. And I think finding that and then running with it, I've found it, especially in the situation that we're all living through at the moment, is that people are really grasping onto creativity and really trying to express themselves, and it really helps. And I think it can be very soothing if you can find a creative outlet, because it's a well that you can always draw from, rather than kind of looking at the outside world, which is closing down. It's like if you have a creative, or if you found your creative voice, because everybody's got a creative voice, if you can find that, then you can keep drawing from that well, and that well will always bring forth. So that's
beautiful, Emily. I think this year, I mean, I wrote that in my Patreon page. I was saying how I've felt so paralyzed this year and just not being able to be creative. I think a lot of our people that I know that are creatives have been stifled and paralyzed because of what has been going on. So to get into that space of just like, that was always my savior, my place of comfort was my art class when I was growing up, and I could just dive into that and just let everything else go. So I think that's beautiful, Emily. I think that's going to be very valuable for people.
But the thing is, you're graded at art, aren't you? You're graded, and I don't want to grade. And then you carry, well, like we are with all subjects, and then you just carry that through, don't you? And you just think, well, you in your mind, you know, oh, well, I'm not a creative person. I can't tell you how many students I've had that have just said, no, I'm not creative, and you know, they're just a bit. It's like everybody, we are innately creative beings.
Yeah,
and it's
exactly.
finding that, and just, you know, it's just that unblocking. It's where do I find it? And people are just looking in all the obvious places, you know. Well, I can't draw, well, I can't do this. It's like, well, you can, and you are, because you're an individual.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. I can't wait. That's going to be exciting. I remember I used to do this experiment where you just keep your pen on the paper and then you just draw, you never lift it up, and you do that. It's so much fun.
Is that
Pardon
without
me?
looking? I
No.
start my class that way, without looking at the paper. So
Oh,
I'll
that's
stand
even
up
a great idea.
and then you have to do a continuous line.
Yeah.
And then people go, oh, I can't do it, because they need that control. And then you look down and the shapes that you get, and you end up with the Picasso. So that's how I get my students to loosen up at the beginning. It's so good.
Okay, we're on the same wavelength then. That's awesome. That's cool.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Oh yes, Rosa.
Carry on, and then I'll come back at the end.
Okay, you put your hand up after.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, thank you. Eric, can you unmute yourself, please?
Yeah, I had an idea, and I don't know yet if it's overly ambitious or not, but I had set my intentions to begin to develop like a framework or a model that people could use to create their own alternate reality game, or a framework for experiencing life in a much more richer and fuller way to enhance their experiences in life, and a way to incorporate a lot of these topics and subjects that people are wanting to get into just this overall way of looking at your life or creating an experience for yourself in order to generate synchronicity and have mystical experiences. And so, you know, I'm looking at some things that other people have done. You know, there's a lot of stuff that was done back in the 70s. And I know I don't want to use other people's models. I want to develop my own. But, you know, I want to take some concrete things that I can use to actually create a model, because it's a very abstract thing. And, you know, I'm reminded of Michael had this experience where he was trying to hike up and reach some point on this side of a mountain or something. And it's just this idea of injecting more adventure and excitement into your life. I mean, if you think about games that people have played, like that Pokemon Go, right? It captivated everybody. It's like a little treasure hunt, or those geotagging things, right? These are just ideas to get people out into nature, interacting with their environment, and getting away from the virtual, though, right? And getting more in tune with nature itself, and using that as a way to enrich their experience in life. I'm working on it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to come up with something that children could comprehend, but that's my goal. And I'm hoping to have it completed fairly soon. And if there's any way to do this as part of the Dojo Homeschool, I would love that.
Oh, wow. That's incredible, Eric. That sounds very, very incredible. And maybe, you know, you just voicing it right now can call upon other people that have that same idea that can actually help you. That's awesome.
I think Eric, a really perfect model for that fit would be a Dojo Code School. Instead of Dojo Film School, but Dojo Code School. And that's the perfect pitch to these people that want to learn code. And I only haven't talked about code yet, because I want to prove to you guys how awesome Dojo Film School is before I start Dojo Code School. But I'm actually a software engineer. I write 3-dimensional virtual reality landscapes in my old job. And so this is like, I would know exactly how to do this kind of stuff. And I don't think that it would necessarily have to be that kids have to learn from this. I think if you just make it interesting, that you won't have to worry about what age fits, that you'll just find that people who are ready for that appetite are going to show up and eat it up. And you don't even have to think about how old they are. So I really love this idea, Eric. Thanks a lot for sharing it. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that was my hope, was that it would appeal to a broad range of people and ages, right? Because as adults, we sort of get locked into this adult way of thinking, especially in Babylon, that, you know, everything has to be serious, bills and jobs. And, you know, we don't often take time out to just have a good old fashioned adventure. And some of my favorite books as a child were these books about, you know, like Gulliver's Travels and Treasure Island. And I would just go off in my mind, right, wishing I could live this out. But there are ways that you can have an adventure and an experience. It doesn't have to be an over-the-top getaway vacation or something. You could do it in your own backyard. But I know nothing about three-dimensional coding, but, you know, my thinking is more in the abstract, I guess. But yeah, I would love to work on it with other people as well and get input.
Well, Michael has already reached out to me privately here, and I think he talked about Recode School, and this is totally up his alley. And he says that he'll definitely talk to you, Eric. This is he's had the same idea. So there you go.
Awesome. Yeah, Michael, just send me I think you have my email, but
yeah, here, I'll ask him. Or why don't you put your email in the chat for me? And I'll write it down for him. He's at work right now. I just talked to him this morning, but yeah, put it down. But Michael is pretty keen on that. So that's cool.
Okay, great.
That's where like a detail, you know, that I think about is like, say I was going to try to, you know, think of things that I think would add to a virtual reality. And one thing would be that like you tune it to your own voice, like, you know, have some type of a program where if you were going to have a virtual reality and you had, like, say there was a musical instrument there somewhere you could play, and instead of trying to be all complicated and say tune it to 432 or all this, just have some type of a program where you hum and you calibrate like the entire existence to your voice, so you can experiment with different things and get that feedback of how it resonates in your own body. But that's, you know, that's just something that came to mind that could be a virtual reality thing. You know, I just think the frequencies are often overcomplicated and overlooked, you know.
Do you know Sherry Edwards? Sherry Edwards? She reads voices. It's really cool. Yeah, you should check her out. Oh my gosh, she's amazing. And she has on her website, you can actually talk for like 30 seconds or something, and then they can she can read your voice. It's so freaking cool. Sherry Edwards.
Wow.
Me,
yeah,
Melanie?
I've never even really thought about trying to think of the voice that way. That's interesting.
Oh my gosh.
Sherry Edwards.
It will blow you away. Sherry Edwards, she's done talks on Alpha Vedic. Go check out Alpha Vedic podcast and press her name in there, Sherry Edwards, or just Google her or whatever, you know, maybe DuckDuckGo her or something.
Check that out. That sounds interesting.
Oh, so interesting. Oh my gosh, I love that stuff. Thank you, Eric, for putting that in there for me. Or did you direct message Michael?
Yeah, I sent him my email and phone direct message, so he's got it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Eric. Adam, unmute yourself, please, dear.
Wow, so much going on right now, and yeah, it's just firing me like synapses. Pi, I'd love to collab with you, man, and it's so important to. I'm looking into frequencies, and I think it's so important, regardless of everyone wants to look into music or drama or anything, but so even as a meditation, a form of health, a form of, you know, of tuning our frequencies in our bodies and aligning ourselves and clearing ourselves out. I think that should be a part of the dojo practice, because that is part of enhancing everything that comes with the dojo, you know. So absolutely, man, that'd be amazing. I had to write it all down. Eric, that's amazing, that's awesome. But even as a way as researching that idea, the most organic AR is a child's imagination, and we can go out in the field and we can go out and set projects, and even in researching the perfect adventure, use the children in our own lives, in our own realities, to find the best adventure that they can think of, and then amalgamate that into a code, you know, because they're the experts, and you know, you can make a walk to the shops and a complete adventure, you know. You can make it like James Bond all sorts. I don't, you know, you can sit in a car and look out the window and all sorts of fantasies come through. So I think we should use that imagination, but also why not create a model where we can do that in real life and make it a project on your family walks to kind of do the dojo adventure, whatever it is we choose to do. A request, a call out for people. I don't know if that's okay to do, but something I'd like to see. Talking about parents or adults and children or us all learning together or unlearning together. I'd really like to see a money school, a money management school, or a finance school of understanding money, understanding the energy that is attached to money, because it's something that I think we've talked about this in dojo, as I've got a complete complex and issue about, and I need to learn to love it but understand it. And something that comes to mind is I see Seamus on Facebook. He seems to understand crypto quite a lot, and James, you're talking about crypto as well, and we can implement that in our lives. I'd really like to learn how to understand money, as well as a finishing school as well, because I work on a million projects, and there's something that's in me that just gets halfway through, even if it's like a really good project, and just goes no. And every single project, I've got so many awesome things just lying that I can't seem to finish. And I don't know how we get a finishing school. I don't know what that implements, but I reckon we're all here pretty much similar creatively and probably face that issue. So I'd like to see those two. I don't know if we can call that out, but yeah, that's all I've got.
Adam, I'd say that the dojo model itself is that finishing school, because it holds you to account, you know, on the mat. I'm actually getting ready to cover this. I've got my hand up to talk about how we actually do this. So I'll hold it for now, but I hear you, man. Hear you.
Melanie, can you do me a favor and watch the chat for me and then report for me? Could you do that for me could you be my right-hand mod girl? Yeah? I can't hear you, love. Okay. There.
Yes, I will. Thank you. Sorry, I was on mute. No problem.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, because sometimes I just with my contacts, I can't read little writing, and then I feel like I'm missing out on stuff. So sorry about that. For that little oopsie. Rosa, my dear, unmute yourself. And yes, I don't want to pay taxes either. Fuck these taxes, man.
Who does?
Yeah.
I just wanted to, so I'm thinking with my little macaroni pictures channel, I'm thinking of reformatting it, and I stress thinking about it, but reformatting it to be after a chat with James the other day, a production company for the truth movement with no budget. So people that have great ideas can come to me and we'll make a film. And to throw that in the dojo, I'd quite like to record all the creative process and release it after the film is out. And then also teach kids how to use propaganda and stuff like that for good, like using all these powers for good. Because it would be great to have some kind of like Warner Brothers of the truth movement. And I'd also it would also be good to have some kind of film club where kids could send it, or whoever could send in something that they've made, and we could like pick one and everyone talks about it and how powerful it was, and pick out good things and constructive criticism and how we could make it better, or just like help them find a bit of a style and help them reach an audience and use power for the power of the media for good. So that's my idea, but I'd like to do most of that stuff pre-recorded and then put it out rather than a live stream, because I don't know if I can handle kids. I don't know if I'm that good with them, but yeah, that's my idea.
I love that idea. Holy catfish. That is huge.
I'll be your mod. I'll be your mod, Rosa, because I can handle kids.
That is amazing. That is amazing. I love that idea. That's a big picture. Holy catfish. That's huge, Rosa.
Cool. Nice one. That's it.
That's it. Loretta? Unmute yourself. No. Lynetta, sorry. Unmute yourself, please. There you
Hello,
go.
everybody. Lynette. I haven't met most of you, but my idea was to present like a kids moon club. This is kind of something that I'm doing with my own family. We're kind of on our own walk and connecting ourselves to Mother Nature and the moon. I actually moved from California a year ago to a small town in Nebraska, and I immediately found this connection to the soil and my roots. And so we're kind of on this journey, discovering ourselves, rediscovering ourselves, I guess I would say. And I kind of want to share that raw journey with the group and grow together. So I want to present where we study the moon cycles together. So like, for instance, the wolf moon that we're in right now, I would share projects that we can do to connect ourselves to the wolf moon and introduce the moon cycles to the young people in our lives through the arts, through phonology walks, gemstones and crystals, recipes, all these kinds of things. This is something we did last year and something we're doing again this year. So I'm adding to that quote unquote curriculum of studying the moon. We're an unschooling family. We just opened a art studio here in our rural town because the arts do not exist here and it's all academic. And our goal here is to teach critical thinking and creative thinking because, as I heard someone mention earlier, you know, that creativity is taught out of us. You know, we're all told when you go through the schooling process that 1 + 1 = 2, and these young people we're seeing, they don't have the confidence to just sit down and draw or sit down and paint. They want a step-by-step process, and they all want to walk out with the same painting. And what we're trying to do with this space is to just give them an unlimited amount of supplies and say, sit down and create something. Let's just look at what we have and make something beautiful that you're proud of and that represents you and your authentic person. And I think there's something there that I can also bring to the group. I just haven't really figured out what that is or how to do that. But I just want to share this raw experience in the group as I unlearn with my family. I think there's something there. I just can't quite put my finger on it.
That's
it.
awesome. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I think it's step by step, right? I think these are like planting seeds. This is our second meeting and already we see a lot of growth. So just trust the process and it's going to grow. James, unmute yourself, my dear.
Wow, perfect lead in, Lorna, because I wanted to talk about the process and how this actually works, how this actually gets started. And I think it starts with producers. And I think that the producer, your main job is going to be creating a space, building a tent, EP, creating a space for people to converge and hold that space for them. That's what you're looking at right now. This is me being a producer for Dojo Homeschool. And so we've had two meetings. We haven't actually decided on a schedule yet, but we're kind of getting to know each other. We're bringing stuff up, and that's truly how it starts. On Wednesday, at the same time, I've allocated that for Dojo Film School for Macaroni Pictures. Now, we could all change that time, but that's how you get started. And that's really all you have to do to get started. Because the moment you can commit to holding space for other people is the moment that you've really created everything necessary for something to grow. And it's only going to start by doing that. So even if you're not the person that's going to be driving the truck, right? Firing the guns, launching the catapult, throwing the paint on the canvas, it doesn't matter, because you can be the person that holds space for that. And as you're holding space for that, those calories that come out of you, the time you have to allocate to make your schedule, to say, I'm going to have this meeting, that becomes your own vitriol too. And you start to really find that you want the group to be as productive as possible to make your time feel more chronically charged. And that really does create your main motivation as chief, as elder, as first elder, to really start that idea and kind of keep enough of energy coming through it the whole time. And so I would like to keep this space open, this 12:30 time for Dojo Homeschool. And it would be for producers, like some of you here. You producers could come back to this meeting, and I would hold this space for you to say, to listen, to witness how your project's going, what's working, what's not working. And by you sharing those frustrations and those successes, that vitriol is beautiful, beautiful manna that other producers would see, feel, learn from, be inspired from, and avoid the same pitfalls. And it really is just a beautiful model to proceed. And I think if you can just commit to doing that as a producer, you'll find out right away, instantly, what does this sandwich taste like? Do I want to finish this sandwich? How do I finish this sandwich? Who can I share this sandwich with? And just enjoy the process the entire way. And use the dojo, like what Adam was talking about. Use this dojo to hold yourself to account. Why am I not finishing? Why am I not completing these things? Having witnesses where you declare what you're going to do is awesomely powerful. That's why companies have meetings. You start to really, really learn about yourself and what you're able to do. And when it's in a voluntary basis, this is one of the hardest things about being self-employed, is you learn firsthand what it's like to be in charge of your own reins, to truly have to find the motivation to move yourself and to hold yourself to account. So this is all a fractal human exercise, up and down, up and down. And it really starts with, if you're willing to produce one of these shows, it really starts with allocating the time and setting up the Zoom meetings. Melanie, this is what she does for a living. She's great at this kind of stuff. I've been doing a lot of this. I really suck at doing these ahead of time. Like, I'm not very good at like giving enough, but what I mean is that I know how to do the software. I can show you how to do this. We can definitely help. We even have a couple of Zoom accounts between us. Like Melanie has one, I have one for Dojo that, you know, it's not like you have to start even spending money right away. We're happy to help you with the Zoom things or whatever else we can do. You can get this off the ground without spending money. You're going to spend calories and you're going to spend potlatch because you're really hoping, you're really trusting that these seeds are going to grow. And you know, if you set the soil right and you wait, it will happen. This is what happened with Dojo. The first time I threw Dojo, it was like, oh my God, is this going to work? And you just have to hold that note. Just hold that note. And people will start singing if it's good, if it's authentic, and if it works. So let's create fruit. When you're ready to be a producer, you don't need to tell anyone that because you're a sovereign producer. You're going to do that. I would love to hear about it though. After you do that, I would love to witness what it is you want to do, because I think that you'll find that some of us are not going to be producers. Some of us are going to really enjoy participating in all these projects, but in a less like Adam's a perfect example. Adam has these different interests that kind of touch on all of these. Maybe he's not going to necessarily produce each one of these ideas, but he would definitely be a vital part of making each one of those productions happen. So don't feel like you even have to be a producer. I'm just trying to show you that that first elder, that first position really is so crucial because you're holding that space. This making music, the music makers, what a great conglomerate channel. I could see this being a group dynamic chat where different people are just coming to the show at a certain time. Let's say maybe Pi's leading it, whoever, and that's all you're doing. You're moderating and you're just watching what people bring to the circle. So this stuff's really easy. It's scary at first, but even that pays off in vitriol. That fear ends up alchemizing, and you end up being able to pull off magic Jedi tricks you didn't know, and it's all because you did this. It's all this works in a cumulative way. So think about that as a model. Don't let this intimidate you. This is actually very easy to start. It's going to be picking your time. It's going to be learning to run these meetings. And more importantly, it's going to be having the meetings and feeling the unease that you might have with being nervous, with not knowing what to say, with maybe even having a terrible meeting one day. That even that is what you bring to the dojo. That's what makes you human, and that's what makes you grow. And so that's a victory too. I hope this explains it a little bit, and just kind of, this is how we produce it. This is how we get it off the ground. It's going to start with these producers. It's going to start with these tents. It's going to start with this very, very, very basic model is, can I give an hour and a half a week, or an hour, or 30 minutes, or once a month? Or can I commit that, hey guys, every full moon, we're going to have a moon in that morning. And every new moon, we're going to have a moon in that night, or whatever it is, right? It all fits beautifully. And Mel, I think, would really be able to help, because we can showcase how there's like a master calendar, and anyone who's involved in the Dojo Homeschool would be able to kind of log on and see, oh, wait, I didn't know that on Mondays at 10, there's so-and-so happening right now. I'm going to go check that out. So this will help too, once we have this network of support underneath it. So thank you.
Thank you, James. Does anyone have any questions about that? Open witness. Okay. Kyle, we figured out your hand situation, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No worries. I'm nervous and a bit starstruck. I've been watching James' content for, it's gotta be over a year now, and been creeping on y'all in the dojo for a week, which sounds just so incredibly creepy when I word it that way. But
were you wearing clothes?
Yeah, half the time.
Damn, now it's really creepy, right?
It was pants at least. But this is just also incredible. Like, I've been thinking about the need for something like this for a long time. And so to see it kind of get the wheels going in motion without having to do it myself is just unbelievable. Like with each idea that gets passed out, I just find myself like furiously agreeing, nodding my head that yes, yeah, we need that. Finances, yes, we need that. Needlework, I don't know how to needle. I would love to do that. And so I find myself being able to contribute to all of these, and so I'll have to take some time to figure out where I think that effort would be best utilized. I have programming background as well, and so if we need any help on the infrastructure, I'd love to do it. But I also love creating content, and so yeah, I'm not sure where I could be best utilized, but I just want to introduce myself. And
what's your background, Kyle? What do you do? What's your experience? What's your passion?
I've background in software development. Started making computer games and apps when I was young, and so that was kind of my career goals. Several years ago, I kind of realized that I lack real skills, like seeing the apocalypse unfold, and realized, like, shit, I don't know how to build anything. I don't know how to use tools, and so I had converted a school bus into an RV, traveled for a little while with my buddy, and then did the same with a van, just to rediscover how much I enjoyed creating things with my hands. Like,
that's awesome.
Creating software is fun. Creating software is fun and all, but I think there's something seriously lacking with the satisfaction you get from creating something physical, and so kind of reaching a point now where it's like I want other people to experience that. Like, it it hurts me so much to see like my nephews and stuff just mindlessly on iPads all day, and I see it in myself, wasting time on social media, and so I think this is just unbelievable way to better utilize that time.
Wow, thank you so much, Kyle, for speaking up, and thank you for showing up too. I think this is a very important subject. Like you were saying, like it's so funny when I was growing up, because I'm so hands-on, I'm so domesticated, or I don't even know what you want to say it, but I feel like I'm a domesticated goddess. Like, and I don't think I was valued for all my skills. And now I think this is the time where I can shine, is teach people how to make sauerkraut, or to make hats and scarves and, all this kind of stuff. So I think, yeah, this is where we're going, right? So this is really awesome. Thank you so much, Kyle. I really appreciate you speaking up. Danny, my dear, unmute yourself. Where are you? There you are.
Hey everyone. So yeah, this, just like with what Kyle was saying, I've been seeing a need for this. I don't know how to, basically, many years ago, I had this pet project. I was calling it Tutors for Transcendence, and this was just like I was in a space where I was learning all these things. I had just wanted to share. I wanted to find a way to convey that information, and it just, so this whole project is resonates a lot with me. And like I've shared before, I've worked a lot with kids, and the Tutors for Transcendence was kind of like, I mean, it was a very generic idea, but in my mind, what I wanted to create a space where I could help people understand the secrets of the universe, so to speak. And I bought a bunch of magnets, and I bought gyroscopes, and I bought the spiral graphs, and like I bought, I had all these things. I was trying to get a bunch of stuff that I thought would be useful for teaching kids different kind of scientific conceptual ideas, like sacred geometry, that kind of stuff. Anyways, so there's just like a lot of passion, a lot of potential that I have wanted to share and do want to share. But like, as I'm kind of processing what is realistic for me now, I think that what could be most valuable for my electricity is starting with like dog behavioralism, and kind of maybe expanding a little bit from there. So because I already want to, I make these little videos with each one of my sessions that I'm doing with the dog training, the dog behavioralism, and it's not really training videos. It's more just like watching the dogs go through the different activities, watching them play, that kind of thing. But I want to do more of training videos, so I'm kind of thinking that I could do double. I could create it for myself, but it could also be something that would be presentable for a dojo kind of thing, where it's just ideas are about dog behavioralism, about dog training, that kind of thing. And I do, my partner Jordan uses Zoom for her. She does group work with her therapy, and so I believe I have access to a Zoom account that can handle a good number of people. So there's that. But I took digital film in high school, so I have a little bit of a video editing ability. But I'd also enjoy doing the film school, dojo film school, just to kind of expand on that a little bit. But yeah, I just wanted to share that I want to try and find that space to offer something. And I think the dogs is going to make the dog training, something along those lines, is going to make the most sense for me. And it's like, because I'm trying to ask myself, like, what would I be most passionate about? What would just like flow smoothly? And to me, it's like it starts with dogs, but it kind of expands into everything. Because to me, it's like the dogs are a space in which I, tap into conscious dynamics. And so I would want to, potentially start with the dogs, but be able to expand on those notions and help, have it be kind of more about discovering ourselves, more about discovering, I don't know, stalking our witness, those kinds of concepts could be brought into that space, definitely. So anyways, yeah, I just
those
loving
complement each other really well, don't they? They really do. The dog behaviorist and human behaviorist complement each other really, really well. So I think they fit perfectly.
I do too.
Danny-
And Danny, I have 4 bad dogs that are right here. We can even use them for examples. Aha. So,
Melanie. Danny, I think that's really cool. And I think what's important here so that we don't get overwhelmed is to actually you thinking about what you're doing already that can actually be repurposed into your business model and then to be added to the dojo is exactly what I'm going to be doing too. And I think a lot of people should be kind of thinking about that. So it's not so much of a stretch to put so many calories into something that is brand new. And like you're saying, Danny, there's so much other stuff that you want to bring to the table, but it's kind of smart to actually think about what we're doing right now and to refine that and then to offer that to the dojo. So I think that's a good step for everyone to kind of think about, to process. And Danny, like those other things that you're talking about, like Pi, he's so into the sounds and the tuning. That's something that you can always offer, hey Pi, I can spend some calories with you to support you, to help you with that. That could be like your added little hobby thing, right? And that's what I'm going to be doing too. And yes, it's important for producing for us all to get on the same page. I'm already thinking about, because I have Michael, Matthew, Mitchell, Mason, I have 5 kids. So, and all of them are into taking pictures and film. And Michael is the oldest brother. So I can see all my boys being in on this. So I'm really fucking excited for all of us. Pardon my language. I'm so excited. I'm vibrating really high, really excited. That's awesome, Danny. Thank you. Nancy, unmute yourself.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Nancy.
So I just want to make sure I understand. So on the new moon, I decided to, I love sprouting things. I go back, like my first plant that I ever sprouted, a plant from was an avocado seed. So anyway, I don't know why, but I just love, and then I grew my own alfalfa sprouts when I was a teenager. And I mean, I could live on all the things you can sprout. Okay. I just love, but I'm really into microgreens. So I decided that I'm going to buy my own little permaculture thing. And so what I want to share is, as I learn to do this, can I like videotape my learning this and like put it all together, and I can have help with, maybe editing or whatever. I mean, am I thinking along the right lines here?
Yep, I think so. And it's great that there's a Dojo Film School right there that you could get some pointers from and tips and all kinds of stuff like that. So, yeah.
Great. Then I'm so excited. I feel so charged right now. And thank you to everybody, because this is just, it's like a deep down dream that I really didn't even know I had, but it's just feeling that way. So this is just this is fabulous. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Eric, can you unmute yourself, please?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention the importance of managing our expectations, and also as that directly relates to the feeling of disappointment, or maybe I'll just share a quick story. I had been put in charge of running an addiction recovery program. I didn't think that I had the experience to be able to lead such a thing, but I did it anyway. And I had some confidence going into it. People were telling me, you know, we really think you can do this. And so I built up expectations in my mind of what the outcomes were going to be. And at first, you know, I had some interest. People began to show up, and we did it every Friday night. And I thought it was going well, but slowly but surely, people just stopped coming. And what had sparked it really was I got asked to do this. And before I had even received any, I got sent to a training program, and we had to implement this specific program. And before we even got it up and running, I got an email from some woman that I don't even know, who said she had a son that really needed this help. And so I met with him privately because we hadn't even gotten the program up and running. And my first impression was like, this guy is, you know, he's not serious about it. His mom wants it for him, but I don't think he wants to give up all this self-destructive behavior that he's doing. But, you know, he started showing up and coming. And at the end of it, I couldn't even get other people to help me administer this, right? It was a very difficult process. I was doing everything by myself. I was getting frustrated. People were leaving. I was getting down on myself thinking, you know, this is terrible. I'm screwing this up. But that one guy that I thought would never last was the one guy that stuck around. And after the program dissolved, he continued to reach out to me. And now he moved to a different city. He changed his entire life. He's involved with programs, like he's devoted his life to like helping homeless people and people that are down on their luck. And he even lived in a homeless shelter and, you know, helped people in that shelter to get back on their feet. And I still get prana from this. So, you know, it's important to manage your expectations though, because when you go into a project like this, you may have those expectations. And then when things don't go as well as you thought, you tend to want to quit or give up, or you get frustrated. So I just think it's important to keep that in mind, that sometimes you don't always know what the outcomes are going to be. And sometimes they're far greater than you could have even imagined. Just that one guy still contacts me, still tells me that he'll never forget about me, that I was instrumental in saving his life. And every time I talk to him, it just like, I get overwhelmed with emotion, and the prana I get from that is amazing. So, you know, there's great things, but you know, you got to manage your expectations, because otherwise you can get into that state of mind where you're like, this isn't going well. I'm not suited for this. So I just wanted to put that out there.
And I just wanted to say that when you feel that way, and I hope you do feel that way, because if you never have that feeling, you're not trying hard enough, that we have this beautiful dojo that's here to alchemically not fix that, because that's not broken, to alchemically transmute that and show us all what we can do with that. That's the beauty of this model, is that this isn't even about success. I know Eric gets this too, by the way, but I just want you to know, if you're new to dojo, that this is what we want. We want this. What the fuck? That's going to be, you're going to be stronger from that, because you're going to bring that to the circle. And we're going to talk about that, and amazing things will happen when you talk about that. Thank you.
Authenticity, right? Real raw footage. I think
Can I
that's
add
awesome.
to that?
Yes, of course you can, Melanie.
Who in the dojo asked who asked for the pom poms? I got them right here.
Oh, you're so
These are my
funny.
school color. It's not like the basement. But yeah, these are all. Oh my gosh! Yeah, look at the handles and everything. These are
You gotta be careful with that. It's gonna get you in
all
some
those,
trouble.
I know all those
today.
stinky small ones the girls have. I had like the real shit. That's all I got. That's all.
Oh, I love you. You're such a freaking cutie. I'm gonna cry. I'm so emotional here. Okay, Sherry. Oh, Melanie, your hand was up. Wait, no, you're after Sherry. Just a minute. Sherry, unmute yourself, please. No, you're not unmuted yet. Are you going to unmute yourself?
Sorry,
Okay,
I'm
there
trying
you
to
are.
work on my cat who
It's the
keeps
kitty
getting
cat.
away.
I know our animals are driving us crazy.
Oh, he's great. So I'm sorry I missed the first get together for this. But so been thinking for a while what I can offer. And I know Adam had said to somebody, well, what are you doing right now? So I've given a lot of thought to this because I've been a teacher for 25 years. So I know that I have a lot to shift in my thinking, although it's been shifting for a while. I've been really unhappy in my work because of the direction that education has gone in the last nearly decade. I know longer than that. I know people will tell me it's been bad for all of time in the way that we're doing it. I'm a special education teacher, so I've worked with children with disabilities all of this time. And one of the things that I've loved about my job throughout the years is reading to children. So when James mentioned just reading to kids, that might be a place where I would fit in best. I'm not a paper and pencil pusher. I've never been that teacher. I've always been very hands-on and very just direct with my kids and with their families. So there's that. I'd love to, be a part of something where maybe I can help with the selection of great children's literature and then presenting it to kids. I mean, kids just love to be read to, and it invites all kinds of just conversation and ideas and imagination and all of those great things. The other part of this for me is, when I think about in the last nearly year that schools have had this upset where we've not been in school, I worry about what has happened as far as kids, just their development of skills as far as reading is concerned. I always have felt like that's been my superpower, I think, is I've been able to teach kids how to read, and even kids with disabilities, severe disabilities, in teaching them how to read. So I feel like it's been a deliberate attempt on the district or education, the system at large, to not teach children how to read proficiently. I think that's all part of this ugly system that we're all tangled up in right now. So, and I've been tutoring kids outside of my job, homeschooled kids right now. So trying to support parents' desire to homeschool. So I just wonder if there's a place in there, and maybe people have suggestions about that for me, but a place in the dojo as far as helping maybe parents work with their own children on reading and just guiding them, or I'm not really sure exactly, but that's kind of where my thinking has been. Again, I'm not really sure, where I fit into it all, but I just would love to be a part of it. I'm trying to get out of my current job. I think I'm about done. It's a sad ending, really. I was always very proud of what I did. But I don't like being part of what it's become for me. So anyway, so that's where I'm at.
I love that, Sherry. I love what really rang in my ears is you saying your superpower. I think that's something that we should all think about, is what is your superpower? What do you think of yourself? What is your superpower? Ask yourself that question. And I think that's something you can really bring to the table.
Right. And I think, I mean, for me, reading, teaching reading, there's so much there. I mean, what can you do in life if you can't read? And I want, I love this cat too. I just want everybody to be able to read well. And it saddens me that people are getting deliberately in the way of that. And I just don't want to see that happen. And I don't want parents to be frustrated thinking, oh, their children will never be able to read, or I know our kids are so now immersed in technology that they have lost the love of wanting to learn how to read. I just want to kind of spark that again, or at least keep that flame going if there are kids who already love books and want to read. So
I could see
Very.
this really working
Sorry.
well with the story reading, the story time reading thing. I could see those two working together. So not only could
Me too.
people listen to the story, they could actually watch the reading happen. It could even be as easy as turning on auto captions. I don't know, but I could just see these two really working together. Just wanted to throw that out.
I mean, I'd like to just add that my own experience as somebody who couldn't read and had somebody who worked with me, and then I magically, like, the words just danced around on the page and reformed, and I could just all of a sudden read one day. And the thing that I even grew up without TV, and I didn't even read. I mean, reading wasn't even happening even back when I was a kid. Just for whatever reason, I didn't see a lot of people. And I just want to say the thing that changed that for me was I had a teacher that had us read. He spent an hour, you know, we had classes where you were with the same teacher, and we would take an hour out of each day for somebody in the class to read. And just for whatever reason, I found that very effective, and it led to that experience reading for other people, and the I guess the witness of the classroom and being patient regardless of anybody's ability to read did something. And it just, from then on, I was a reader, and that was an experience that I'd like to share for me, for whatever that's worth.
Thank you, Pi. That's awesome. Adam, can you unmute yourself, please?
Firstly, I'd just like to say that your cat is literally my spirit animal. I'm loving it right now. It's just a testament to kind of the quality and energy that you give, and also what you just said, kind of the passion that you have. Is we're going to need that in this place. But I just wanted to give my kind of testimony to when I perform, when I learn lines in a rehearsal. We have to read, and I'm borderline dyslexic. Reading is hard. James, it's still taking me forever to really read your book properly. It's a small book, and I need to give it all my attention. It's a thing for me, words. And so learning lines has always given me anxiety. And the best way I've been able to do it is wait till I've got into a rehearsal room and learn, and all the words go in whilst I am living out the story that I'm reading, in a sense. And I think that really can imprint just how beautiful storytelling can be, but also imprint the story we're telling, these stories that we've got, of truth or history or fairy tales. How can we like we're saying to Eric, we can immerse ourselves in an augmented reality with our imagination by learning to read through reenactment of the story, if that makes sense. And that's really helped me learn to read as well as learn to retain, but also how beautiful it is to sit there. And I'd love to listen to a story as well. I'd love story time. But as well as that, why don't we implement a model where we can literally reenact stories?
Yeah, readers' theater.
Yeah, totally.
Nice.
Yes, I love that. Okay, guys, we're coming up to 12 o'clock, and I think that's kind of what we're going to do, is stick with the dojo rules, or, you know, parameters of time and constraints, James. But I would love, maybe I should have called this a little bit, but maybe you could do a little closing conversation for everyone.
Yeah, thank you all for being here. And if anyone's interested in being a producer, think about it. Reach out to me. Reach out to Lorna. Reach out to Melanie. Reach out to whoever. They'll send you my way eventually. And let's do this. If you're hearing, maybe I'm just throwing this out. Maybe you heard Sherry and you're like, "Wow, I'd love to do that." I don't know if Sherry. I think I could be the producer and then involve Sherry. In other words, think about what you want your calories to be, right? What you want your contribution to be. I'm just saying that because I'm just guessing, but maybe Sherry's like way into actually doing, and not necessarily like the parameters and the pencil pushing and the button pushing to make it happen. Like you could utilize that force. There's all these energies here that are on the mat, and I encourage you to utilize them to the extent. This Friday will be the support meeting for you as producers. The moment no producers come, that's cool. I will probably change and start doing something else with this. But I think right now it's worth putting that time in. So thank you for coming. If there's want to come next week, great. I'd love to see you. Wednesday is our Dojo Film School. I realize it's late, but if you want to come to our meeting and participate and watch how we do it, we'd love to have you. You can watch and spectate, or you can be involved. It doesn't matter either way. That's going to happen also at 12:30. So yeah, that's all I got. Thank you everyone for being here. Appreciate it.
Hey, James, quick question. Where will you be posting the links for these meetings? Because I know they're on Facebook, but are you going to put any in emails or on Patreon at all?
So part of, if anyone needs to leave, I totally understand. It's okay. It wouldn't be rude for you to leave right now. And I'm happy to stay over here. It's a great question. Part of building the network for Dojo Homeschool is solving that problem. Just like on JTrue, I built a website for the dojo and we kind of publish things there. I'll be doing the same thing for Dojo Homeschool. I think for right now, Eric, I'm probably just going to put it on JTrue. I think that I can do that easily and everything's kind of separate and still neat. That way we can just have an incubator where it can kind of kick off. So that way you can subscribe to those lists. So it's not in place right now, Eric. I'm just going to do the best I can to let everybody know, but that's actively what we're doing is building that framework in the background. So anyone else has any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Okay, so basically we're starting with film school on Wednesday at 12:30
Eastern, right? So
Eastern time,
but on Wednesday. Yeah, the same time we met today, but on Wednesday would be that.
And then homeschool meetings are on Fridays. Okay, everyone. Right. And we'll try to stay on top of James on helping him out by putting notifications up all the time for sure. Because, you know, as this is starting, I mean, in the future, I see a calendar that we can click on. That would be so awesome. And yeah, definitely everyone think about your superpowers, think about what you want to bring to the table, do a call out to people that you think might want to start something and start the communications going. Don't be so hard on yourself, you know, just throw something out there. Let's just start checking things out there and seeing where they land. And I think everything will just organically eventually happen. So I'll be thinking about putting kids in the kitchen because I already do that for my Patreon page. So me and Seth are always in the kitchen, or else one of my boys is in the kitchen with me. So we'll start by doing the, you know, wholesome food, or, you know, making some sauerkraut with kids. And, you know, hopefully, I guess I'll be posting that on the Dojo Homeschool Facebook page for now, and maybe a list of supplies that you'll need and what time it's going to be, and then maybe reminders and all that kind of stuff. So, and yeah, just let's start stepping one step forward, right?
And as you do that, Lorna, we'll be working in the background to say, how can we streamline this? How can we make it better? How can we get all this information out? So yeah, thank you. Thank you for leading the charge.
Could I just quickly ask, it's not like the dojo, you can, I've got people that I could invite.
Yes.
That I'm out with. Yeah, great, thanks.
And you can invite people to dojo, by the way. That is allowed.
They'd have to be sitting.
Yeah, I was wondering about how that would work. Like Lynette, you say you're in Nebraska, I'm in Lincoln. I have several friends that have gotten together and moved out of Lincoln because of all the restrictions, and
I'm in Lincoln.
Created their own homeschool, and I don't know how to introduce, you know, I don't know if they're even, I've shared some things, I don't know if they're even familiar with but you know, if you'd be interested in contacting them, it might be a good way to introduce them. I don't think they know anything about dojo, but I know that there are people that I respect their ideas and their, you know, they're thinking on their own, and they're not, you know, they're people that I would imagine could be in the dojo anyway. But if you're interested in that, I'm going to be starting up. I don't know if you're familiar with that Common Good organic farm. It's by Raymond there. but I'm going to be working there, and I might include it in some of my filming. And I know that they would love to have they're always trying to get people to come out and share their biodynamic farm experience with kids, and they have kids there too. And so anyway, since you said, I just thought if you're interested, feel free to let me know, and you could
Great.
talk further. I just thought I'd mention that before we,
Great.
So all
Thank
of
you.
us also have the opportunity to, James, invite people to Dojo School on Facebook right now. So that's kind of maybe what we should be starting with right now, because we don't have the infrastructure in the background, in the back end to actually navigate that. So, we're going to have to probably go with the Facebook. So just get people, and then because all those Zooms will be shared on that page, right? So if you got people that are interested, just say, if you're homeschooling, go check out the Dojo Homeschool, join the group, and then the discussions and the times and everything will be put there for now. Hey,
Yep.
James?
Just for now. I realize
for
that
now.
we can't keep it on Facebook, but yeah, exactly.
No. Okay. Is that good, you guys? Is that a wrap? Anyone else have anything to say?
Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you.
Okay,
Lorna,
well,
for
thank
the
you.
time. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah, no problem, James.
Bye.
Love you guys all. Thank you so much for everyone who spoke today. I appreciate that. And I know that all of us are excited and full of energy, and remember, just think about your superpower, think about what you would want to bring, and let's take a step forward.
All right,
Okay,
guys.
bye.
Everyone say goodbye.
Guys.
Goodbye, all.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.